Our next speaker is Dr. Bhujan Shetty, and he'll be talking about compassion in eye care. So over you to sir.
Thank you, Dr. Reena. I was with the patient the other day, and he told me, "Doctor, if you don't mind, I'd like to say something." I said, "Go ahead." And he said, "Doctor, it's no more Vaidyo Narayano Hari, but now it's become Vaidyo Narayano Vari." Well, I asked him, "Why is that so?" He says, "Well, we patients nowadays feel that doctors and hospitals today are more interested in my pocket than my problem." That really.
Sir, please share your screen, sir.
All right. I have no slides. I'm just.
No, sir. Please click on share screen, sir.
Okay. All right.
Your PPT not visible, sir. Please click on your PPT, sir.
He doesn't have a PPT.
Please minimize this.
I don't have a PPT.
He doesn't have slides.
Yeah,
He doesn't have slides.
Yes. I have no slides. I'm just talking. All right. I have no, sorry, I have no slides. I'm just talking offhand. So when he told me this, I was a little shaken and I asked him, I mean, if that's the reason, that just shows that today our patients are suspecting our own, our motives. And that's the last thing that can happen to a doctor or an institute. And no wonder there is so much of conflict now between doctor and patient, and atrocities on doctors, and cases on doctors. I think there is some room. We can't always blame the patient for everything. We need to introspect and see exactly where we have gone wrong. Well, what I feel that seems to be some communication gap between doctors and patients. When a patient walks in to our chamber, do we just see them as a number? Do we just see them as a patient or a customer or a guest? Or I feel that we should treat them as our own kith and kin. That's when you build a rapport with our patients, and that's when the trust between a patient and a doctor develops. And now, of course, we are all, such big hurry. We see huge number of patients. But when a patient's in front of us, he must have waited for hours to get to see us. And then he spends about 5-10 minutes in our chambers. I think it is his right that we give him not 100%, but 200% of our attention. Well, first thing is that as soon as he starts talking, we are notorious for, hardly giving him 2 sentences, and then we start examining him, especially in ophthalmology. I think we know it all. We've already come to a diagnosis. Things are very simple. But then we need to hear the patient out. We need to give him some time to tell his story. Maybe you may feel it is irrelevant, but for him it is very, very important. And most important is when a patient is sitting there, we tend to get distracted, especially by this phone of ours. And that we need to avoid. And anytime we lift a phone when a patient is there, he definitely feels that, doctor is not giving me the attention that is due. He's distracted. Maybe he's forgotten what I complained about. So that's one thing we can definitely avoid. And at the end of the day, patients also know that, doctors are not gods. But he must walk out of our chamber feeling totally satisfied that doctor has done his best. And if so, if a patient, he may not get cured, not all of them will, but still, if the patient feels that you have done your best, he will be happy and he'll be satisfied. And then once a satisfied patient walks out, he becomes your fan for life. He keeps singing your praises. And if you have such patients, you really don't need a marketing team, because that becomes your base, that becomes your foundation. And you'll be soon having thousands of people working free for you and marketing your hospital and your name. I don't think there's a better base than this. However much advertisement you may do, however much marketing you may do, nothing like a patient, talking about you and telling about your hospital. That's the best base that we can have. So I think we should all depend more on our patients to, tell about our hospital and our work than anything else. But then we see different kinds of patients, and we have different yardsticks for different class of patients. Well, when a wealthy patient walks in, of course, he pays well. It is necessary. I don't say money is not important, but the problem starts when you make it all important. Our patient care must be first. That must be our first priority. So I keep telling my people, patients first, always and every time. If we put our patients above everything else, then everything else follows, including your wealth, name, fame, everything will chase you. You really don't have to chase these things. That's my feeling. So when a wealthy patient comes, of course, we see them well, they do pay us well, but they also demand their pound of flesh. So they sometimes keep bugging you, keep asking multiple questions. They are worried, they keep window shopping, and so many problems are there. It's not easy. But when an underprivileged patient comes, we should realize that he also requires the equal amount of attention and care that we give a well-to-do patient. For this reason, I'll tell you why. When you treat an underprivileged patient, maybe he doesn't pay, or sometimes you may even do it free for him, but he will be so grateful to you that he will bless you, he will pray for you. And I've even seen some of them worship you. These things are absolutely, more important than money. And I always feel these blessings from these patients are extremely important because you don't know when, however big, however popular, however powerful you are, when you'll get caught in some, crossfire, when you'll get into trouble. And at that time, it is these blessings from these patients that come to our rescue. And there we will be saved. So I always feel that we need to give the underprivileged patients all the attention that they require. And I really look up to institutes like Arvind and LVP and Shankar Netralaya, who have done great work. And I feel that it's not necessary that that only such institutes can, trust institutes can have this model. Even individual practitioners, we could definitely spare some of our time and some of our resources for the underprivileged, and we should. So for me, compassion is nothing but treating others as you would like them to treat you. Compassion is putting yourself in the patient's shoes. Compassion is being a good human being. So I truly feel that if you can show me a good human being, I'll show you a good doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for a lovely talk right from the heart. Compassion in eye care. Thank you so much.